think I told you this, in connection with my volunteer fire rescue work. Along with the church, I was chief of the volunteer fire rescue that we organized in 1952. I think it was already starting just before we came over in 51. I think there were two people, both servicemen or something. Anyhow, when I got involved, they left, and I ended up running the show of the fire rescue thing, and we had no lifeguards, no fire department. We had nothing out here.
Did you ever know Eddie Aikau?
Oh yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, Eddie Aikau was a good friend of mine.
Oh my.
Oh.
And
we both watched the Eddie this year, and of course we kept thinking of.
Were you at Wimea?
We weren't here.
Yeah.
I was in.
It was they showed
watched
it
on
through the internet. It was live on television the whole
So
day.
he was
So.
in
Yeah,
Pennsylvania, and I was on Maui,
Glen
and we're.
watched it here.
Yeah,
Did
it
you?
was just amazing.
Uh-huh.
We loved it.
when Eddie was applying for the first lifeguard position at Wimea, Eddie didn't graduate high school, but Civil Service Commission waived that requirement
Oh wow.
for him. But his eyesight also didn't meet the standards the Civil Service Commission required, so he wasn't going to get the job. So Eddie came to me and said, would I go to the Civil Service Commission and try and persuade them to waive that as well? So I did. I went downtown, met with the Civil Service Commission, and told them about Eddie and he had I don't know, it was the Hawaiian in him, I guess. But if you were swimming out at Waimea Bay and Eddie was on shore, he could tell just by watching you whether you were going to get in trouble or not.
Wow.
And I've been there with him. And we'd be talking, and he said, oh, see that guy out there? He's going to be in trouble. And he went over to start getting his board, or I guess he was swimming with a float at that time. And he said, I'm going to go out, he's going to be in trouble. So he took off, dove into the water, and was swimming out toward this guy. And all of a sudden, this guy's yelling out there, help, help, help. And Eddie was almost on top of him.
He was already halfway there.
So he knew the guy was going to be in trouble. So
Wow.
I told this story to the civil service people. And I said, this guy can tell when you're in trouble before you know you're in trouble. Whether his eyesight meets your standards or not, this guy will know. And he's the one you want on the beach if you get in trouble out in the water. And so they waived that requirement.
Because of that, and thanks to you, he got the position
He
there.
got the position, yeah.
Wow.
So I was responsible for him
Wow.
getting that position.
How about that? Wow. And wasn't that interesting that the young lifeguard won that competition this year?
I just thought that was
Wasn't
so
that great?
That's the kind you have chicken skin.
That was just really
He
great.
was a former student in our Christian school.
Oh.
Is that right? Oh,
Oh.
wow.
Huh.
Goes around.
Eddie and his family were always together. When Eddie was surfing, the family was there. They had an old truck and a camper over it or something, and they were always cooking and eating. And Pop Aikau, and I keep trying to remember his mom's name, and Myrna, maybe? I'm
Sounds
not
right.
sure. But I got to tell you the story because this is my connection with Pop Aikau. They were always, anything I wanted, they would get for me because of my help getting Eddie his job.
Oh, yeah.
So they were very appreciative of that. So we were at Sunset one time, and we got a call on the radio, you know, there's swimmer in distress at Sunset, swimmers, plural. And so I went down with our truck, and I guess we had one other guy. Went down, and we went in and started pulling these guys. They weren't too far offshore, but they were definitely in trouble. They were all drunk servicemen, and about 5 of them, I think. So we got them in, and I guess Eddie was involved in that. We got them all up on shore and everything. And I think Eddie must have gone back out surfing or something. But So the other guys, they were kind of staggering up the beach, and this one guy came up to me and was really giving me a hard time. Hey, we know what we're doing. We're members of the Army underwater demolition team. And you can't tell us what to do. And he was really giving me a hassle. And I felt a tap on my shoulder, and I turned around. And here was Pops Aikau. He's a pretty chunky guy. He says, "Hey, Paul, this guy giving you a hard time." And I said, "Yeah, he wants to go back in. He says he didn't need rescuing." And he says, "Hey, Paul," I says, "you go on up. I'll talk to this Howley for you." And I turned around. I don't think I took more than 2 steps, and whack. When I turned around, here this guy was laid out cold on the sand.
Oh,
Pop decked him, He says, and then he turned around. We were walking up to the road again, left this guy, and he was kind of coming around. And all the firemen and the policemen up there were all looking up on the mountain, talking and gesturing about something up on the mountain. They didn't see anything, of course. And so Pop Aikau says to me, "Hey, Paul, you let me know. This guy give you a hassle, or anybody give you hassle, you let me know. I take care of him for you."
Wow.
so when you did your fire and rescue, did you go into the water and
Oh, yeah.
and so you had to swim in and all that?
Yeah, we had to swim. We had, we were on probably the first surf trucks in the nation to have a surfboard on and as standard equipment. That came a little bit later from this incident.
On the truck.
Yeah, on the truck. So alongside of our suction hoses, we had a surfboard with racks hanging on. And so we got into paddling. It was a bigger surfboard,
Huh.
paddling out.
So